Today we are going to be talking about the life of Jacob. Now Jacob was the son of Isaac, and Isaac was the son of Abraham. Jacob's mother was Rebekah, the wife of Isaac, and Jacob also had an older brother named Esau. Now Jacob was a very deceptive man during his life, but he also learned to grow in God and to learn more about God. There are two well-known examples in the Bible of how Jacob was deceptive towards others. The first was how Jacob was deceptive toward his father Isaac whenever he and his mother Rebekah were able to make him appear to be Esau. Now, Jacob's father Isaac was blind, so he could not see. The reason as to why Jacob and his mother Rebekah were trying to fool Isaac into thinking that Jacob was Esau was so Jacob could receive a higher blessing from Isaac. Now Isaac favored Esau over Jacob. However, Rebekah, Isaac's wife, favored Jacob over Esau. Now, the blessing that was being given by Isaac to his son was a double portion, priestly rights, and leadership authority. Now, as I said before, Isaac was a blind man. So in order for Jacob and Rebekah to fool Isaac into thinking that Jacob was Esau, they had to fool Isaac's other senses. Now they fooled 3 of 5 of Isaac's senses. First, what they did with touch is they put goat skin onto Jacob. So that way, whenever Isaac touched Jacob, he felt like Esau was. Because Esau was a very hairy man with rough skin. And Jacob, on the other hand, had very smooth skin compared to what Esau had. Also, they fooled Isaac's sense of smell by having Jacob wear one of Esau's clothing in order for him to smell as to how what Esau would smell like. And lastly, they fooled Isaac's sense of taste by preparing a meal of meat similar as to how Esau would prepare it. So because 3 out of 5 Isaac's senses were leaning Isaac to think that Jacob was Esau, he went ahead and gave Jacob his blessing. Now, a second example as to how Jacob was deceptive towards others was when in Genesis 25, verse 29, he actually was able to have Esau sell his birthright to him. Now, the way that Jacob was able to do this is that one evening, Jacob was cooking stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was extremely exhausted from working all day. Esau asked Jacob if he could have some of the food. However, Jacob would only give Esau the stew if he would sell him his birthright. So Esau said to Jacob, "I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me?" So Jacob then told Esau to swear to him, and so Esau swore to Jacob and then sold his birthright. So there are 2 examples as to how Jacob was very deceptive towards others. Now another key part of Jacob's life is whenever he left his home to go live with his uncle Laban. While Jacob was there, he fell in love with one of Laban's daughters, Rachel. So Laban and Jacob came to a deal that if Jacob worked for Laban for 7 years, Laban would then allow Jacob to marry his daughter Rachel. However, Laban tricked Jacob into marrying his older daughter Leah. So because Jacob loved Rachel and not Leah, Jacob and Laban agreed that if Jacob would work 7 more years for Laban, he would then allow Jacob to marry his daughter Rachel. So Jacob worked 7 more years for Laban and then married his daughter Rachel. Now Jacob had 2 secondary wives, or concubines. One was a maidservant of Rachel, and one was a maidservant of Leah. So now after working for Laban for 14 years, Jacob now has 4 different wives. However, Jacob does not have any possessions. So Jacob and Laban agree that if Jacob works for him for 6 more years, he will then give Jacob livestock and possessions. So in those 20 years that Jacob worked for Laban, he had 4 wives and was also given livestock and possessions. So now Jacob returned home with his wives and children and possessions. Now Jacob had 12 sons and 1 daughter. You probably know of Jacob's sons because his 11th son born was Joseph, who many know from the biblical story of Joseph and the rainbow-colored robe. Now when Jacob was returning home, he feared that his brother Esau would be very angry with him because he stole his blessing from Isaac. So one night, Jacob prayed to God, "O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Yahweh, who said to me, 'Go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant. I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan, but now I have become two groups. Save me, I pray, for the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me, and also the mothers and their children. But you have said, 'I will surely make you prosper, and will make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted.'" And that was Genesis 32, verses 9 through 12. That night, after praying to God, Jacob actually wrestled an angel. And after wrestling with this angel of God, Jacob was given a new name, Israel. So whenever Jacob returned home, Esau was not angry with Jacob at all, because Esau had become very wealthy over those 20 years. So as we look over the life of Jacob, we see that he was very deceptive towards others. However, we also see that he grew and learned more about God all throughout his lifetime. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.